Hey, welcome. This is Emotionally Intelligent Living, Straight Talk with Steve. So let me jump right into the topic of what I want to talk about today related to emotionally intelligent living. And that is this whole concept of work life balance. Now, I know you hear that all the time. What is it? What is work life balance? What does it mean? And then I think we all question, is that a reality or is that a myth? Is that something that is true that we can count on, that we can work toward? Or is it just something somebody made up because it sounds good? And the reality is, it's a little bit of both, to be honest about it. When you think about work life balance, um, there tends to initially be this concept of this, where work and life are balanced together. But that's not the way it works. That's the myth part of work life balance. Um, there are times in our lives, there are seasons, there are times when we need to put more focus, more energy into work than we do into our lives, into the other parts of our lives. But there are also times in life where we do the opposite. We need to invest more of ourselves into our personal lives and just do the things that we need to do at work. Now, I'm not talking about quiet quitting. I'm not talking about cheating your employer by being a remote worker who puts down 40 hours, but only really gives 25 or 30 hours of real work. And unfortunately, I see that a lot right now with remote workers and when I'm working with many different organizations. Which is why, and this is a topic for probably my um, EQFIT leadership insights instead of emotionally intelligent living. But bottom line, I would much rather see us all go to more of a production based or a performance based approach to the work we do. Call it accomplishment based. What do we achieve? What do we accomplish? And are we rewarded for those things? Versus this whole thing of time. Time has been the value exchange in the past. I bring this in here in this work life balance because I think it's important to understand what the constructs are, what the models are that we live our lives by. And the average worker, historically and even today, puts in a set amount of hours a week and gets paid an amount of money for that time. Um, when it comes to work life balance, which is our focus right now, what does that mean? Well, I see people on all points of the continuum, all the way from I'm going to put in as little as I have to at work, and because I don't like it, I don't enjoy it, all the way to I'm putting so much into work that I don't have a life. And we all hear those kinds of phrases too. Let's deconstruct this concept of work-life balance. Um, in reality, what's going on is it's a feeling. These are emotions we're having about this concept of work-life balance. Am I feeling good about my work? Am I feeling good about my life? Is there a balance? Now, one of the things I want to kind of demystify here is balance is not 50-50. Balance is what it needs to be in a given time for you to achieve the things you need to do, both at work and in your personal life. And, when I talk to couples, which I have done some couples counseling in the past, um, they say, well, we should each give our 50% and that should balance out to 100%. That's not the way it works. You give 100% of what you have today to the effort you're making, to what's going on. And in a relationship, That means each person gives their 100%. Now, your 100% today may not be as good as your 100% yesterday because there may be things going on. But all of this actually plays into our measure of work-life balance. If you're having some personal relationship issues going on, you and I both know what happens. Energy goes internal first to deal with that internal stuff that we're working through, relationships, challenges, whatever it is. What's left over can go to the work effort. That's what I call the energy exchange. And that's just reality. So you can see how there really isn't one set amount or quantity of time, energy, focus, effort spent on work and on life that finds the right balance. It's always in flux. It's always going to be a bit different. Now, we can find a sweet spot, which I hope you will. I think that's very important. But that sweet spot starts from up here. It takes your deepest held beliefs, values, the standards that you hold your decisions up to, and then it magnifies those into, how do I want to approach that? Do I have the right mindset so that I can find the right balance and get into my sweet spot? Now, your sweet spot is going to depend upon what you're trying to achieve in life. Now, it's also going to depend upon your season in life. Okay. Somebody asked me the other day, and I just laughed at them. They said, gently and kindly, I want to say that. Basically, what I said when they said to me, when are you going to retire? I'm going, I'm not that old, which we're not going to get into that today. But bottom line, I replied right away, hey, I'm on the work forever plan. I don't see retirement in the Bible. I don't see it, I don't see it in my life as long as I can do the work that I love doing. Maybe that's a part of work-life balance. I love the work that I'm doing. As a matter of fact, this is funny. I hadn't thought about this till just now, but I'm in here working away on my masterminds last night, and I'm finishing up the final videos that go on our website and all this kind of stuff. And I lost track of time. And so I'm just working away, and my wife comes in and she gives me that look. Do you know what that look looks like? I bet you do. And I thought, okay, what did I do? And I looked at the time on my computer. It's 11:30 at night, but I was so close to being done. Now, I didn't feel like that was out of sync with my work-life balance, but it was for her. And that's another aspect of work-life balance we have to take into account. It isn't just about me if I'm in a committed relationship. It's about my wife. It's about what she thinks, what she wants. And she's right. I need to probably not be working on things till 11:30 or midnight on a consistent basis. But for me, I love the work that I do. I love helping to equip people to prosper whatever they're doing in their lives. I want them to live their very best life. I know that sounds like a really cliche phrase that everybody uses, but I live that through emotional intelligence, neuroscience, psychology, through all of my 40 plus years of experience coaching, training, helping people, and really just walking the journey with people, which is what I love to do. But that's something I want you to think about when you think about work-life balance. Now I work with owners of organizations. I work with leaders in organizations. I work with salespeople. I work with people in the ministry, people, whether they're executive directors or pastors, or I work with a broad variety of people. And I love that. I enjoy that work. It feeds me. It motivates me. Do you know what does not motivate me? Detail work where I'm editing pages for the website and things like that. That just sucks the life right out of me. But that's the kind of thing you've got to figure out. What feeds your work-life balance? Your enjoyment of the work you do, the enjoyment of the things in your life. Then are those healthy? Are those good practices? Are they things that will give you more motivation and give you more energy and be healthy choices? Because that's something we have to consider as well. We all have our escape mechanisms. And sometimes those get in the way of what we're trying to accomplish in our work and in our lives. So, there's a lot to this work-life balance thing. There may be times I'm putting 75% of myself, my time, my focus, my energy, my effort, those four things that we truly control. I may be putting 75% of that into the work, but then there may be times I'm like putting 40% of that into my work. Now, as an empty nester, I can tell you, I have a lot more time to pour into what I do in my work, and I love it because actually what I'm doing is expanding my family. And you may be one of those people in the future that's a friend that I don't know, or maybe part of my family that I haven't met yet. But the reality is that when you think about work-life balance, take into account a lot of these different things I'm talking about. If you're not enjoying the work that you do, and I work with a lot of salespeople that absolutely hate their jobs, but it isn't as much the job that they hate as the framework that they're working within, and there's nothing there that's feeding them. And maybe that's a success thing. Maybe it's more about their boss. Maybe it's more about the organization or the products that they're trying to sell. But the reality is life is way too short for us to just be out there trying to earn a paycheck when there's nothing else for us in that. However, let me say this and be honest about it. We have to pay our bills. We have to eat. We have to put a roof over our heads. So I get that. Okay. But you're not stuck there forever. There's a better path forward. And that's another part of work-life balance. What is the dream? What is the pathway that gets you where you want to go so that you can reach that place of satisfaction, success, where, the old saying, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I'm actually living that dream right now. And I love that feeling that I get. Are there days I'm just drained and it's just a lot and all of that? Absolutely. That's life for all of us, right? But the reality is that most days I feel very fulfilled, even if I'm tired and spent at 11:30 at night. At the end of a long day, I feel very good about what I'm doing, what I'm accomplishing, because I'm transforming lives, which is part of my equipping people to prosper focus that I have. What is yours? If you had to come down to a two-word purpose, and I give Kevin McCarthy, somebody I've met recently that I think of as a friend. I'm working on that on his end. We'll see where that goes. But he's got a great book called The On Purpose Person. And if I ask you what your two-word purpose is for your life, for your work, what would you say? For me, it's equip people. Now, I could lengthen that out with to prosper, but the reality of that is I have a vision, a mission, a goal to do that every single day. This may sound a little weird, but on my mom and dad's gravestone, there's a phrase that says, "We left it better than we found it." I would like that to be my legacy. What do you want your legacy to be? Well, start to think through these things about work-life balance, knowing it's more of a tension between the two, and you're moving back and forth depending on the needs, and be okay with that. Be emotionally intelligent about that so that you're not criticizing and beating yourself up about it. If something's not working for you, if it doesn't feel right, if it's not giving you energy and motivation, where I know all things won't do that, but just in a general sense, then find ways to change, to transform, so that you can find the balance that you need, knowing that that balance will shift and change as we move forward. Good to see you today.